Hi guys, Squad here. Welcome to another Microsoft Flight Simulator video. In this one, we are going to fly from Leeds Bradford to Blackpool. It's not a particularly long flight, about 20-something minutes. We're going to do it in the Cessna 172 Skyhawk. This is not the Garmin 1000 version that you get in the standard edition, but the other one that contains, I think, the Garmin 430 or 530. I think it's a 430. It has twin 430s on it, I think. We'll have a look when we jump inside the cockpit. But basically what we're going to do is we're not going to use a GPS system. We're going to do some VOR work. So I thought we'd take off out of Leeds Bradford, and we would head down towards the POL VOR, which is here. We'll fly direct to that. And then we'll fly direct to Wharton Airfield here, has a VOR, WTN. If you click on them, it'll tell you what the frequency are as well. It's a VOR DME. Because we're going to be overflying the airfield. When we get to here, we'll need to be 2,000 feet. We need to be well over their airspace effectively. So we'll be 2,000 feet when we approach here, and then we'll take something like a 290 radial approximately off Wharton. Will take us to Blackpool, at which point we will then descend and come around and land on runway 28. So that's the plan. We're going to take off out of Leeds Bradford, which has Orbex scenery, so should look quite nice. Anyway, let's get to it. And here we are. At Leeds Bradford, in the Skyhawk. This is Orbex scenery, so it actually looks, take a quick look, it actually looks quite nice. As you can see, one of the first products to be ported over to the new Microsoft Flight Simulator. And yeah, if you just nip over here, I'll just quickly show you this. It actually looks pretty decent, I'd say. And funnily enough, contains actual liveries. Look, Jet 2 and Ryanair. Standing aircraft. Even some BA stuff going on down here. Very nicely done. Don't know if you're familiar with Leeds Bradford or not, but if you are, you probably recognise it. Anyway, so we've got some very atypical weather from the northwest. I don't know what altitude we're going to get to with all this going on. Probably try and get to 4,000 if we can, but we'll just have to see. We'll try and take off out of runway 32 today. Just looking at the windsock, actually. Yeah, 32 looks like the goer. We've got a guy here who's willing to push us back. If I remember to ask him to push us back before I start the engine, that is. We'll see how that goes. So I couldn't remember if this had a Garmin 530 or a 430. It turns out it has both. It has a 430 down here and a 530 up here. So we'll set this thing up and use its systems, but we'll get it off the GPS page so we can't actually see where we're heading, and making sure that we're not getting lost. We'll use it if we need to, but I don't think we'll need to. Anyway, let's go through the startup procedure. So let's see. Everything is turned off as it should be. Trim is in the neutral position. So we'll start down here with fueling. This is the fueling valve, left and right. Normally you leave it on both on the 172. Then we need to basically open the fuel shut-off valve. If you're wondering why your plane won't start, it's probably that. It's a little sneaky one, that one. Trim is in the takeoff position. Let's see. Avionics is all off. Right, so what we want to do is we want to basically put this into full mixture, and we'll turn on the battery now. There's a whole bunch of other checks that you need to go through, really, if you're doing this for real, but including pitot heat, putting the flaps down, blah blah blah. We won't bother with all that. So we put the beacon light on because we're about to start, and we shout clear prop. So we go into about a quarter of throttle here, and then turn the fuel pump on for about 3 to 5 seconds. Like that. Pull the mixture back out again, leave the throttle what it is, and as we crank, as it catches, we basically throw the fuel in. That's the plan. So parking brake is definitely on. There it goes. So mixture rigs, bring it up to idle. And then, very important, we're going to look at the oil pressure rising. If that doesn't rise straight away, just cut the engine off. That is very important. The temperature will take time to come up, but that oil pressure has to be coming up. Vacuum pressure looks like it's working okay. That's good. We have sufficient fuel. So now we can turn on such things as the avionics systems. And then we can start looking at those. As you can see, because it's Microsoft Flight Sim, it's already preloaded the flight plan from source to destination. That's fine. The system's getting ready, by the way. We'll turn on the transponder here. We'll leave it on standby for now. 7000 is the VFR squawk in the UK. Right. What we want to do is, the first thing we want is POL VOR. We need to get that punched in. Now, you can just go and look it up online, but with these kind of Garmins, you can actually do it in here. You go to the waypoint page, which is the outer knob. Goes to the waypoint page there, and then the inner knob, we just scroll through until we find VOR stations, and then we basically push on the cursor there, start turning, come back through the alphabet and find P, and then go outer knob, back to the inner knob, O, outer knob again, inner knob, POL, enter. And it says our frequency is 112.1, which is correct, because that's what it said on the main screen as well. So we know that's correct, 112.1. So we'll put it in the VLOC here. It's currently on COM, highlighted COM. The way these Garmins work is you have to push between COM and VNav, navigation frequency. So we'll put it into here, 112.1, and then we'll flick that in. And there it goes. Because we're not that far away, it actually activates here, which is cool. So we want to be flying to the VOR. We're going to fly directly to it. So if he was going to spin the OBS knob here, and it says 2, keep going, and there you go. So it basically tells us that currently it is, what, 247 or something? Approximately. So we could put that down into the HDI. But first, what I'm going to do is have a look at the compass, and the compass is on about 302. So I'll make sure that the alignment is correct. So this is currently agreeing with the compass, and then we can put this round to what was it, 243? We said approximately. So we know roughly when we take off, roughly, we're going to want that kind of heading approximately. But we're going to fly the needle, basically. We're going to fly straight towards that VOR. And then the other one that we need is the Wharton VOR, which is WTN was the code, wasn't it? So let me just jump back here. So we might as well find that while we're here. Save time in the air. You do it on the ground, do it on the ground. W T N, slow it then, WTN, enter 113.2, so we'll basically punch that into the standby frequency. 113.2, so we've got both POL and Wharton in here. We could punch them into here as well if we wanted to. 113.2. In theory, make that the active one. In theory, that should be driving this, I think, on the system. So that should, in theory, be driving that one, and that should be driving that one. And that is the ADF, which is up here, which we're not going to use. So I think that's correct. Now, at the moment, it's telling us our distance to here is, let's see, the distance to Blackpool is 48.7. If we go back to nav now, it says waypoint 48.7, so it's still got that loaded. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll flick away from that Wharton. There you go. We'll leave it on that page, and then we can't actually see where we are, but we'll leave this on here. If ever we get stuck, we can directly head on a bearing of 267. It'll take us directly to to Blackpool at the end of the day. So we'll just keep it simple for now, do it that way. So what we want to do is an about turn. I'll bring the flaps up now. We don't need any flaps for takeoff. And at 172, we'll also bring in a little bit of panel brightness because it might be a bit overcast today. Whack on the taxi lights. Is there any ATC we could bother? Tune in traffic on 122.9. Let's have a see how this works for VFR. I've not actually bothered to try. So we'll push that into COM. We'll tune into 122.9. If you want to, you can just press that and it'll tune it for you, or you can do it this way. Yeah, so you click that in place and it says select a runway for takeoff. So we'll go for 32. And then it says announce taxi, announce clear of runway. Alright, announce taxi.
Leeds traffic Cessna Romeo Lima is taxiing to runway 32.
Okay. It says we're taxiing to runway 32. Fine. Let's taxi to runway 32 then. So I'll release parking brake. We'll try and not hit her. There we go. Oh, I've got the taxiway markers turned on. Fair enough. It's not actually hard to find it. There's only one runway here. So yeah, we're not using any cheats here. We're just we've got all the nav system. We've got the information basically, but what we've not turned on is the whole map view, so we can see exactly where we are. We haven't got any of that. Also, 1 second, the elevation of Leeds Bradford is 681. 6. Okay. It looks like it's already 2992. Do you know what? It really bugs me that. Why can't I change that to hectopascals? I thought it would be an option, but it's not. I still can't find it, even in the release version of this. Everything's in inches of mercury, which doesn't make any sense. Not in Bradford, anyway. Oh, look at those clouds that look a bit menacing. I reckon the ceiling on them is going to be about 3,000. Don't look that high, do they? No, is it going to let us go? We've announced our taxi. Do we need to announce our entry onto the runway? Announce clear runway, departing to the west. I guess what it's saying is we can taxi down to the bottom of the runway. I don't really think we need to taxi down to the bottom of the runway. Let's get the strobe, nav, landing lights, taxi lights come off, Peter heat can come on. We don't need the fuel pump, by the way, in the 172. It's all gravity fed. Because the wings are up above us, and the fuel's in the wings, it's just a gravity fed system and it works really well. Hang on, it wants us to taxi straight onto the runway. Yeah, we don't need this whole runway. We can basically turn around and take off here, I think. Let's do that. Okay, so we'll announce that we are taking off, departing west.
Leeds traffic Cessna Romeo Lima taking off runway 14 departure to the west.
Okay. Don't know what else we need to do for that. Right, let's see. So, flaps are in, trim set for takeoff. All the lights are correct. We have fuel. T's and P's are good. We should have done run-up checks, but we're not going to bother. And I wonder if the Nav1 receiver, I wonder if we can hear the Morse code of POL. Okay. Right, anyway, let's see what happens. So we'll fly runway heading, and then we're going to left bound onto 24 and pick up that VOR. Fly straight to it. Normally you'd have to tune and identify a VOR station. But I'm listening on Nav1 though, and I can't actually hear it. Knots. Let's bring it back. No gear retraction on the 172. So we'll just keep climbing. Let's find the runway heading for now. Pretty clear of the runway. We'll start rate 1, turn to the left. You already see that needle on the VOR is displaced to the left. So what we'll do is we're already bugged out 2-4. We'll just fly slightly to the left and keep climbing. And get that line, get back on the VOR line basically. Oh, what a nice view that is. Blimey. Is very nice. Very nice indeed. Okay, just trim it up here. There we go. Yeah, this is cloudy. Staying VFR in these conditions is going to be very interesting. But we may have to level out. Here actually, keep it low. Actually, it's not as bad as I initially thought. We've still got horizontal visibility. Let's see if we can get away with 2,000 feet. My guess is not. So we're very quickly not going to be VFR. You can see on our left here, it's like it's fine, but ahead of us the cloud coverage is very low. Just level out there. Okay, we've still got reasonable horizontal visibility. It's still VFR. Although we're supposed to remain clear of cloud vertically. It's kind of hard to see where the cloud really starts on this one. Anyway, we need to turn right a bit because slightly off track on that VOR needle. Right, the landing lights, I might just leave them on for now actually. Yeah, this is not VFR at all anymore. It's still perfectly flyable, but not exactly ideal. Hopefully we'll break out this cloud in a second and we can see what we're doing. It looks like we're just stuck in a bit of a muggy cloud. What we could do is we could use, this thing does have a basic autopilot system, so what we could do is say on the heading, go autopilot heading mode, and then altitude, what, 2,000 feet? Altitude, let's make sure it's behaving. Okay, it looks like it's behaving, and then we'll turn the heading to the right because we want to capture this needle again. We actually turned, yeah, so we're basically turning and that needle will come to the left. When it gets to here, we'll just line up again. There you go, we're out of the cloud. It was just a nasty one. I'll tell you what, the scenery around here is really well done. Look at this. Let's have a quick look outside. Wowzers. Superb. You know Leeds Bradford at all? Look at that. That's as good as it gets, that is. Crikey, they got some high quality stuff here. Amazing. Right. So let's see. We've got, we're coming inbound on this now. We're tracking it nicely. Just checking the RPMs. Going to be cruising about 24, 2500, something like that, just to get maximum performance. Mixture. Bring it back a touch. There we go. Engine's running a bit better now. I think it was getting bogged down. It was slightly over rich. let's see what else we've got down here. So EGNM to EGNH, it says 42 miles to run. That's nav. That's just showing us where we are. We don't want that. Track altitude. Ground speed of 109 knots. Nice. Okay. Just back off on the throttle slightly. Yeah, we need to get some more altitude here because you can see there's a couple of things. There's wind turbines going on, some hills, and we've got a break in the clouds, so I think we should take advantage of it. And let's see if we can move up to like 3,000 feet. So we'll put it to climb 700, and then we'll just bring in a bit of throttle. Yeah, it's a little bit bumpy with all these clouds, look. Yeah, we're going to have to fly right over these wind turbines, like you really don't want to be close to these things. Can't get over how good this scenery looks. Good grief. I mean, even in terms of like colour correction. With this cloud sky, it looks amazing. Now when we do get over POL, the needle's just going to suddenly go crazy and go off one side as we go over the cone of, what's it called? The cone of uncertainty, the cone of confusion. I think it's the cone of confusion. The needle will just go crazy, and then that'll flip. Currently it's a 2, it'll flip to a from. At that point we're going to tune in. Actually no, what we'll do then is we'll fly the radial outbound on a west course, which will be 270. We'll fly 270 outbound on it until we can pick up the... See, this is what it would really help if we can actually listen to the VOR stations, because that way we know we're tuned in and we can hear them properly. 3,000 looks good. Okay, we'll fly that heading. Oh yeah, look at this. Look at this. I want to come flying here for real at some point, so it's kind of great to be able to do this. Get a feel for what it's like. Just do a practice run. That's the best thing about this simulator. The fact that I can... People like me, if you fly for real, you can practice. You can practice a flight before you go doing it. Very mixed cloud right now. Okay, so how far have we got to run? .36 miles. ETE, estimated time en route. 19 minutes. Why was that suddenly... Why is it going down so quickly? We must have a massive tailwind or something. So, the fact that we are overspeeding slightly and I'm slightly over revving the engine probably helps. Oh, that is such a lovely view. Unfortunately though, being under these clouds, you can see how much turbulence it creates. And without that autopilot, it is a bit of a pain to try and keep on track. Gorgeous that is. This simulator still, I mean, I've had access to this for a while, but it still blows my mind every time I play it. Look at it. Let's get that ATC thing. Do I actually need it anymore? It's a Manchester approach. 18.5, okay. Let's try that. .580. Request flight following. Okay.
Manchester approach Cessna Romeo Lima is type Cessna Skyhawk 7 miles east of Echo Golf Romeo Whiskey. Request flight following. Cessna Romeo Lima Manchester approach. Squawk 5241.
There you go. That was a squawk.
Squawk 5241 Cessna Romeo Lima. Cessna Romeo Lima radar contact 6 miles east of Echo Golf Romeo Whiskey 3,000 feet. Altimeter 29.92.
Knowledge radar contact.
Copy Cessna Romeo Lima.
This is interesting. Like you can't get flight following as such in the UK. You can get a traffic service, which is kind of equivalent. Normally just give you a basic service. Hang on, we want to track the... There it comes. The needle's coming back in. We've just flown over POL. So we're just tracking... just waiting for the needle to line up as we get away from the... Actually, I wonder if we could see the VOR station. The VOR station was just back here somewhere. As you fly over it, then the needle goes crazy. So we're looking for the 270 radial. I'm just waiting for this to come back in. Let's head off. Degrees that way. Let's see if we can catch that radial. There you go. It's coming in now. So that way we're flying west away from the VOR station, which is taking us towards Wharton basically. There you go. We're shot slightly. Also in real life you get blown by winds and stuff, so your heading often isn't directly lined up with the actual track that you want, or the course that you want. So you have to kind of bracket it until you get a feel for the wind. Yeah, so it looks like the way the ATC is working is it's they've obviously implemented it the American way, and then I don't know, maybe they'll try to do something more clever further down the line based on countries like the UK or Europe or whatever. But you know, at least you can get a service out of it, which is fine. I wouldn't expect them to implement every country's way of doing VFR out of the box. They may never even bother, they may just leave it like that. Okay, so Blackpool is 28.5 nautical miles away. 3,000 feet is definitely our limit. I think we're about to have a little brush with some cloud here, but I think we can remain VFR. In theory, I think it's supposed to be like 500 feet below cloud, so in theory I should descend or turn left, go over here and go around the cloud is what I should do. But I've got a feeling it's just a tiny pocket of cloud. We'll be out the other side shortly. Famous last words, eh? But this is the kind of thing you have to contend with, particularly if you fly up, you know, the kind of territory. You get these clouds that just come in and really mess with your plans. And you have to adapt when you VFR. If you IFR, you don't care, you just fly right through it. Yeah, this is not VFR anymore. At all. I'm going to have to descend, I think. So let's go down to, like, I don't know, 2,500. See if we can get any more joy. Actually, 2,400. Let's do that. So B speed. Quick descent. Get a feel for where we are. The other thing that goes against you is whatever area you're in, you have to check out what they call the minimum service altitude, the MSA, because obviously there's hills around here and towers and whatnot. So you have to be. You can't just descend until you VFR again because you might fly into something. But yeah, in reality, we would have gone around this. There's no way I'm allowed to fly through this VFR. Okay, let's see if we can pick up Wharton 113.2. It's not happening, is it? 113.2 is not being picked up. Surprises me. So we're definitely less than 23 nautical away from Wharton. The code definitely was 113.2. This is how you get lost. As long as we remain on that westerly outbound leg from POL. We should fly over Wharton anyway. Right, so I think we're clear now to get down to 2,000 feet, to be honest. Which is the altitude we wanted to be over Wharton, but I think we're over the hills now. We're back into industrial built-up areas. I'm trying to work out if this is mist on the inside of the windscreen. Some cabin heater on. See if that helps.
Cessna Romeo Lima contact Blackpool approach on 119.905. 119.905 Cessna Romeo Lima.
119.905.
Blackpool approach Cessna Romeo Lima at 2,100 feet. Cessna Romeo Lima Blackpool approach continue as planned. Altimeter 29.902.
Continue as planned. So, I'm taking it we still don't have Wharton. 113.2. I'm beginning to wonder if Wharton's been modelled, you know. Oh wow, look at this down there. Crikey, that is detailed. Great, isn't it? Look at that. $18 miles away, 2,000 feet, just about staying BFR. Does make it difficult cloud like this when you want to fly VFR, which is why some people get their IFR, because at the end of the day, if the conditions are too bad, you just can't fly at all. Whereas if you've got an instrument rating, you can just go up. Once you get above the clouds, you know, quite often you can just have a nice day, basically, even when it's miserable down there. But if you don't have an instrument license, you're not even allowed to go through and up above the clouds. So if Wharton's just not playing ball, then EGNH is on a bearing of 281. So we know that. We know that basically 16 miles to Blackpool on a bearing of 281. So if we still can't pick up Wharton's VOR, which it looks like we can't, 13.2 is definitely the correct frequency. Oh, very strange. Then our backup plan is to fly what the GPS is telling us, which is bearing 282. So we're not going to get lost. It's just that I don't understand why Wharton isn't being met. This massive interchange here is probably the M6 meeting. What would that be? The ooh, not 56. What's the motorway that goes into Blackpool? Blackpool, I can't remember the motorway that goes into Blackpool, but that's what that is. I'm really hoping there's a very good reason. Toggle Morse code identifier. Are you kidding me? Still no water. When you press that, the nav one light goes on and off. Look, you see that? So maybe you can listen to it. I was just doing it wrong. Right, 13 nautical away. We must be going home for Wharton very soon. I can already see the coast, which is where Blackpool airfield is. So Wharton's going to be coming up any minute now. Assuming we're flying an accurate heading. Okay, right, bearing 285, 12 nautical. I think we'll just go straight there now. We'll give up on the Wharton VOR. So this should put us directly overhead Blackpool. And we can just basically go in for a VFR approach. It should hand us over to Tower fairly soon, I think. Blackpool Tower should be 118.4, I think, so we can get that punched in. So at least that's ready. Yeah, this is definitely not VFR flyable conditions right now. .285. Nautical. Just trying to see if we actually overflew Wharton already. Wharton is pretty close to Blackpool. There's definitely an airfield coming up. 9 nautical. In that case, that must be Wharton that we're about to overfly. Yep, I'm fairly sure that's Wharton. Because it's next to this kind of estuary. I reckon when we get over Wharton, it'll hand us off and say, contact Blackpool Tower. It's not exactly a great view, is it? So I can only imagine that Wharton's broken because the Wharton VOR must be broken. Because I'm still picking up POL, even at this distance. But when I switch to Wharton, it's just complete dead. Yeah, there it is. So we're 2,000 feet, which is fine. It's above their airspace. Look at it actually. Like 2.5. Tell you what, if you're an aviation fan living in those houses, it must be good to see a lot of planes coming in. And if you're not, you probably hate it. I love it when people buy houses right next to airports and they complain about the planes. Like, really? Okay, 5.7 nautical to run. Let's just double check. Brakes are in. Landing lights are still on. That's good. BT is still on. That's fine. Make sure you can go back to full rich now. Plenty of fuel. Kind of hoping we'll get a much better visibility for the landing than this. Yeah, there's the coast there, you see. Let's double check our heading is right. 284, it's as good as. Yeah, there it is. Airfield is in sight. I'm amazed we've not been handed off to Blackpool Tower. This is crazy. This can't be right. Nearest airport, this. See if we can Blackpool, see if we can force the situation. Blackpool latest.
Blackpool Airport information, Quebec 1500 Zulu. Flight 273 at 20. Visibility 5. Sky condition 1,000 feet scattered. Temperature 15. Dew point 13.
1,000 feet.
Altimeter 29.902. ILS runway 28 in use. Land.
28 in use. Request a full stop landing.
Blackpool Tower Cessna Romeo Lima is 3 miles east with Quebec to land.
Cessna Romeo Lima Blackpool Tower. Make straight in runway 28. Altimeter 29.902, wind 273 at 20.
Make straight in,
Cessna
mate.
Romeo
I don't
Lima
think so.
cleared to land runway 28. Wind 273 at 20.
Wait, what? No, I was going to say, it's the marker beacon. I thought that was the VOR station kicking in. Right, let's cancel, let's get overhead and cancel the autopilot. And we'll swing around for a quick circuit.
Cessna Romeo Lima, did you copy?
I thought it said acknowledged, did I not say acknowledged?
Cleared to land runway 28 Cessna Romeo Lima.
But yeah, 1,000 foot scattered. That explains a lot. Right, let's cancel the autopilot. This is Blackpool. Along the front there is the Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Which doesn't look like it's been modelled. I want to get down to 1,000 feet. And then let the speed come back a little bit. Okay, there's 1,000. Let's trim that. I'm going to take one stage of flaps. Turn right base. Take second stage of flaps now. This is quite a nice approach actually. Seeing what we are relative to the runway. Slightly misjudged it, but it's fine. And we'll take all the flaps. There's the outer marker again, or the middle marker. You come in on the other runway, you fly out over the sea there before you come in. Keep a little bit of altitude over these trees. It's a very long runway, so I'm not really bothered about where we land. I think there's a vacation point about halfway down the runway. Go. And we're down. Welcome to Blackpool.
Cessna Romeo Lima, exit runway when able.
Exit runway when able. So GA parking's right at the back there. Interesting the way the ATC works for VFR though. Wait, what? Is it taxing me that way? Let's go this way.
Cessna Romeo Lima, contact ground on 118.4.
You said exit when able. Which I did.
118.4 Cessna Romeo Lima.
Zone 4. Yes it is. Let's see. Request taxi to parking.
Blackpool ground Cessna Romeo Lima, request taxi to parking.
Cessna Romeo Lima taxi to general aviation parking via taxiway Charlie Delta Bravo.
Interesting how it caught up
Taxiing
with
to
us.
general aviation parking using taxiway Charlie Delta Bravo Cessna Romeo Lima.
Yeah, it kind of like, it was going to take us right to the end, and the problem with that is there's actually a runway that crosses over. But the instructions said, you know, exit when able, so I did. Just get off the runway. Don't linger. So all these light markers just stuck in the middle of the taxiway. But look at the weather now, it's nice and sunny, typical. Ramp 36 is where we're going. Should have turned the beacon off and stuff. Not the beacon, strobe. Just getting a bit quick trying to figure out too many things here. That was a fun flight, apart from the weather. Just nothing like VFR should have been. I was hoping we'd get some better views in places, but it was a bit foggy. Hope you enjoyed the flight anyway. Don't understand why Wharton VOR's not working. Or is it specifically down here? Dude, get off the taxiway! Oh, look at this. A little entourage going on. You really have to park your car there, though. It's not very convenient. Let's get rid of the taxi in there as well. Right, I want this guy to put his arms down. I feel bad every time I pull up to these things and he ends up... There we go. Can you put your arms down now? A bit more. I give up with you. I genuinely give up. I don't like the way the nav thing sticks through the ground. Okay, that is us done. So let's see. We're going to turn off all the avionics. Going to put the trim back to takeoff. We will hold the mixture, which will end the flight. But we're going to click continue for a second. I'll kill the engine, turn off the beacon. Fuel shut-off valve. Battery master. Magnetos to off. And we're done. Quick look at Blackpool. So Blackpool's one of the default airports, I think. Oh wow, I love the houses. They're like pretty authentic, to be honest with you. Yeah, well, I have scenery for Leeds Bradford now from Mailbox, but hopefully we'll get a Blackpool one. I think UK 2000 did a Blackpool one, I can't remember. No, let's get rid of that. Anyway, give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the flight. I hope you're enjoying Microsoft Flight Sim yourself, if you have it. If not, then I hope you're enjoying my videos. That was the Cessna 172 Skyhawk, and that was Leeds Bradford to Blackpool. Until the next video, guys, take care. Happy flying.